All right, I think we're live. All right. Started streaming a little earlier than normal. Got up a little earlier today, so it's good. I actually kind of like hurt my neck. I don't know, in my sleep, I guess. So anyway, just had to get out of bed. So here I am. And that's why I have my little cartoon robot as my face this morning. Just not feeling the camera today. And if my voice sounds a little strained, it's because my neck is hurting. So I have a pain in the neck. Anyway, I'm gonna show what I worked on over the weekend, basically. And so we're still in our little prototype, or this is actually not the prototype anymore, but this is the refactor. As you can see, I've worked really hard on the graphics, but yeah, so we have this kind of mouse controlled turning. You can move in forward, backward, left and right, no matter what direction you're turning in. So somewhat of a twin stick style. So the one problem with that is I'm gonna have to animate a few more things, I think, but the one cool thing is the player can kind of, I think, aim their dash a little bit better. Okay. But the other thing that I did over the weekend was we had a game dev work session meetup with some local game developers, so that was really cool. And one of the things I decided to work on was kind of revamping the enemy spawn and kind of creating a level manager so that I can have multiple levels and stuff. So there was two ways that I set up the level manager to work. You could kind of get to the end of the level and it would just trigger the next level, or it would track how many spawners and enemies are in the level. So I'm going to delete this guy because he's not part of it. The one thing is my enemies still don't have any type of death sequence, and I don't destroy them because if you remember from the original game, when you kill an enemy, they don't actually get like removed from the map. They just fall down, right? So we can't destroy them. So yeah, so that actually resulted in some tricky things because I had to work around the fact that I can't use like the onDestroyed event. So let's go and take a look. So this is the enemy spawn code, and on begin play we grab the level manager here and we just set that to true. We don't need this anymore. I mean, we just set that to a variable, and then in here why do we have this enemy type? I forget. But anyway, in here, the enemy type, we have a collider. So, and it's basically just a box in here. And when the player character goes across it, we do one time, we spawn the enemy class. So, and I just have it set to this one enemy, but eventually we'll have to extend this to spawn different enemies, and we can either do that in one spawner class, or we can make like a child of this one and have it just change the type. One tricky thing about spawning actors is if you make the class dynamic, any of those like spawn on actor variables that you can get from a class will not be available. So if you want to have certain kind of things to start out, certain flags to set on the spawn, then you need to have a specific class at like basically at build time. So that would be the advantage of having like multiple enemy spawner classes. So we'll see. We'll get to that eventually. And then once we spawn the enemy, we're going to register it with the level manager. So that's what we're doing here. So we grab our level manager, we add it to our enemy list, and then I'm just doing some print strings and stuff and then destroying the actor. I don't know why I have this enemy type here. I don't think I use it for anything. I wonder why we had it. I guess it was maybe for this. I don't think it's a holdover from the, yeah, I'm just gonna remove it right now. Yeah, okay. All right, so that's what this does. It has no construction, it's literally just this box. Okay, and then the other thing that is kind of quirky is when you spawn your transform, make sure that you're not using the scale of the spawner, because you'll create giant enemies when you resize this spawner. So you'll see on this map, this is my spawner. I have this like giant spawner, so we can actually make it, let's make it not as high. That's even still too high really, but all right. So you have this, and basically as soon as the player gets within range, it will spawn. And then we can duplicate that. We can put another one like here, maybe over here. And so if we were to press play and then like get out of the player character, you'll see the spawns have not triggered yet, right? So let's go back. So now we have one there. If we can see that we haven't spawned any over here yet. And if we there you go, got in spawn range. We got in spawn range there. So now we have 3 enemies, and if we want to, so 2 hits will kill these guys. Now in a normal, the slash eventually will just so those guys are dead. It takes 2 hits, but normally it wouldn't take 2 hits. The other thing I realized, this slash actually will damage from like a pretty far distance, even though it doesn't go all the way. And that's because I added like the dash distance is like a multiplier or something like that. Okay, so it's going like all the way over there, but it shouldn't do that. All right, so okay, so he's dead, and then you saw it was like a 2-second delay, but then we restarted the level. So, and the other thing I did here is, okay, so that guy just died, he's dead, but the level's not restarting, and that's because the level manager knows that we have 2 untriggered spawners, so it's keeping track of that. So So it knows not to reset the level until you've completed everything. So so that's kind of the first like win condition of the level in this game. It would be, you know, you're going through a map and you have to dispatch all of the bad guys. And the only piece I haven't like really thought about was, you know, in the prototype, I basically have kind of unlimited horde mode. So like, how would you handle the level for that, right? Like, you could have it set up so that each spawner has like a finite amount of enemies, and that's how we reset the level, and it basically just counts down. Or we could do something where there is no limit to the amount of enemies that you could have in the level, but the player has to, you know, survive a certain amount of time or something like that. All right. So yeah, so that's the level update. So, I mean, it's still not much to look at, right? But the functionality's there. So, and that's kind of where I'm going with this particular version of the game is, we're going to get to the visuals soon, but it's nice to be able to kind of gray box out the main components of the game, right, that are going to make this a game. So, and it kind of keeps me from, you know, it keeps me thinking about ideas like, what do we do if we have a horde mode, right, versus just trying to make the lighting correct, you know. So okay, so the other piece that we have, that's pretty cool, is, well, actually, the enemies are new, right? So they don't do anything though, but they do have some logic here, right, for health, and we're just printing the health to the screen, and then if the enemy dies, we call this enemy died action event. And if you check it out, there's no logic in here to check your health, right? And actually, the enemy doesn't even have a health variable here. We probably want to have some sort of health variables when we're creating our enemies, but like, you can, all the health stuff is handled by this health actor component. So we've created a way to kind of take all that logic out. So I still handled the death stuff inside the enemy, but the health itself is all handled outside. And the health can be universal, so this is shared with the player. So if we go back to characters, we look at our character. Oh, well, maybe, I know, I do have it on here, but I don't think I have any damage actually for the player. I got some cleanup to do. All right. So the player right now just does, oh yeah, I have this space bar here. So if you look here, we have a basically a damage function. So if you press space bar, it takes -10 health. So and yeah, with this we just pass the damage to the health change. So all right, so what is this actor component health? Let's look at it. Yeah, so creating these actor components, one, it splits some of the logic out of all the different separate characters, and then also it allows you to kind of pass information, code onto like other projects and stuff if you keep it super simple. So I have a folder, I forget if I use that, but I have a actor component base here, and the actor component dash, and then, yeah, I didn't use this. I was thinking about the base was maybe going to live in this core folder. So one of the ideas was maybe we build out a bunch of actor components and then we can just like zip file them, migrate them to other things. Or create a plugin or something. Anyway, so what I did was I had this base class, and the base class for the actor component is based on the a regular actor component, but on begin play, and this could be on maybe even on constructor. No, I don't think they have a constructor in this. So on begin play, we grab our owner, right? And we also grab the character that we're attached to. Just because the actor components sometimes need the character, not just the actor class. So this is like a pretty general actor class, so we'd have to cast a bunch of stuff. But almost always these actor components are on characters, but this might change, I guess, in the future. But this is like this is an event that can happen on all of the future actor classes, right? So. And basically we're just setting these two things because I was doing that on the dash component and also on the health component. So we don't have to repeat that code. We can just have it built in. So every actor component that comes off the base, we have an owner and we have a character. I don't know how other people set up their actor components, but I'm guessing they at least have some boilerplate script that finds their owner. So, all right, so that's kind of how I set it up, right? And then I forget if I showed, if I did any of this on stream on Thursday maybe, but I separated out all the dash stuff that we were working on. And you'll see here on begin play, we begin play parent. So our parent class is that base. So we're calling that so we can get the variables. The only thing I don't like about this style is that the parent class variables don't like get exposed like in our variables stuff. I forget where. I think you just have to go into your class defaults maybe. Let's see. Yeah, I forget where those get shown, but I think maybe also if you don't have them as public variables. Let's see. Save that. I think this is where they would show up, but maybe let's compile, refresh our. Anyway, somewhere you can actually get access to these variables. Oh, well, we have dash distance, but that's our regular class, isn't it? Yeah. Parent class. Well, anyway, I don't actually remember. I'm pretty sure you could get access to them, especially. Do you have to have a setting for this, maybe? Maybe we have to expose them on spawn. Hide this variable in the class defaults window by default. That's not it, I don't think. Let's do this to see if that does it, but. this is a boring activity looking for this. So for some reason, I would think it would be in these class settings. Whether or not the blueprints class is const or not. I'll have to look that up. I really thought that you could change the variables of your, like, inherited variables, but like, I think I can, like, at runtime, I could just grab the get owner, right? So I can get the owner here, right? Oh no, wait. My owner. Let's do that. So I can get my owner here, and I think I can set it too. Yeah. But one of the problems with this is that you don't see these things. Like, they're not anywhere in this blueprint graph, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, I gotta research that. Anyway, so we call our parent class because we want to set that boilerplate stuff, and then currently we just have a bunch of functions, and I think I'm gonna have a general function in here just called dash or something. So but we can break these things up too, so that if we wanted to do one of these things, we could. Like, by breaking up dash forward, getting the dash targets, getting the dash attacks, and damaging, we could do something where we just do the dash, right? And then we don't actually cause any damage to our enemies. But yeah, all this logic is basically based on the original, right? But one of the things we're doing now is we're just pulling in our owner and getting the information from that, rather than being on the player character, right? So, and now, like, you could add this dash to an enemy as well. An enemy could be a dasher and attack, because none of this is related to the player character class at all anymore. So, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what to do with this root component thing, but currently it's fine. So this gets all the hits of the enemy, and I'm returning it as well, even though we do set a variable here. This return node returns it, and this could be called not just like inside the actor component, but it could be called like in the like player, right? So you could do a dash and get the hits and do something with them. So like right here, and we could pass that on, but we don't have to, because we could just do all the stuff. So yeah, I think the future state of this is all four of these would just be one call on the. In fact, let's just do that right now while we're messing around. Okay, so we have something called dash forward. We have something called that. So I'm just going to create a new function called dash attack, because I don't know if we could call it do dash attack. And what I want to do in dash attack is I want to dash forward. I want to get. Oh, did I miss some? Do I have to get the dash target first? Let's see. Dash forward, get dash target, get dash attack hits. So okay. This is the way we do it. Okay, get dash target. Why do I feel like get dash target should be first? But okay, get dash hits. I guess because we're just kind of doing everything simultaneously. Yeah, some of this logic may change because just the way that I did it in the past. So where are you? Okay. get attached dash hits, and then we pass that in, and then damage dash attack targets. So let's do that next. And this already, like this is a global variable, so we're just keeping that. Okay, and then I believe that's the whole thing. Yeah, and then we had this loop here that would clear this, so I gotta see if I have that in there right now. I may not. Let's see. After we apply the damage, we do not clear it out ever? We do not. Okay. Okay. So we definitely want to clear our dash targets, and I would say we could do it like at the end of like the damage function, or we could just have our own. We could have a new function that does it, and maybe that's what we should do so that we can always like we want to make sure we clean up. So we're just gonna get this, and I think I just do clear array. All right, so that we'll do that. We just got to remember to always call this, right? Whenever we create targets, we should clear them. But it could be that we're not always damaging targets. Maybe we're just doing some sort of weird check, right? So, all right. So yeah, so now we have our full dash attack here. And what we should be able to do in the player base is take all of this and just do the one. All right, now that's pretty simple, right? We suddenly have one whole, our dash attack goes from some really complex stuff to this. And if you look at the old project here, and we go into this guy, and we try to find our dash attack here, I think it starts with this one. Yeah, so anyway, a lot of this actually is probably more than, no, some of this stuff is here. So we do some stamina stuff, we haven't implemented that yet. We get our dash targets. We do some rotation, which currently we just dash in the direction that we're facing now. So we might never need to use this anymore. And then we play the dash animation, and that's where like some of the launch logic is. So, but like, yeah, so we have all this. And this is not complicated yet, but we do all this stuff. So here's the dash, here's a timeline. We change the start location, then we damage the targets here. And then we end the dash attack here, which does some stuff. Anyway, I think the way we have it now is going to be nice, because we've gotten rid of a ton of functions and a ton of event graph stuff all around this one functionality, right? So, so that's kind of the motivation behind this, right? So not that this is totally clean, because we have all this other random stuff. This is like getting it to work, right? So we don't even need this anymore. We've extrapolated it. Got this. So we still have our spacebar damage, which obviously is not going to stay, but we've got our turn logic, we've got our dash attack, we've got our move, we've got our begin play, and this begin play could probably be changed a little bit more, but that's the next thing we'll show a little bit of. All right, so this is more dash text stuff. So we're gonna kill this too. And this has hit actors, which I think we're gonna be able to remove all these variables from the player base, because I don't think they're being used. So like, let's go, let's find it, let's see, find reference, no results, and then out hits. Again, I don't think we have it, no results. So we can just delete these. Oops, delete, delete. And I don't even know if we got dash distance. Now this could be something that we want to set on the player and then attach it to our character, but yeah, we don't have it, so we're just gonna delete it for now. Okay, so yeah, literally our only current variable for the player class is is just keeping track of the UI. All right, so cool. All right, so the UI. Let's see. So, like if we press play, you can see I've got the red bar up here, right? I think that's new from before. So, what I have in this UI is we've created a UI HUD, and if we go in here, you'll see we just have this player. I call it a player status box, and it's a vertical box. So it just takes. You can add things to it, right? So, and currently there's no logic in here at all or anything, and this is kind of going to be where I do like the basic layout of whatever I want. But a lot of the actual functionality for the UI is going to live elsewhere. So another kind of like pillar of design for my actor components is I want them to be like self-contained and have some defaults so that when you drop them into a project, they can function. So I have this set up, and that's why I was started to work on this actor core thing. So I was like, maybe I can do like a whole level of inheritance where every actor component that comes off of this base has a UI associated with it. But what I found was you can't really make child components of a widget blueprint. It's weird. There's not the inheritance doesn't really work. Like even if you like right click on it right now, like normally, like if you click on this health thing, you can say create child blueprint right here. But widget, even though it is a blueprint, at least it says it's a blueprint, there's no function for that. So maybe you can do it in C++ code, but in here you can't. So, and there's a way around that. I think when you go in here, you can do something with. I forget. There was something online someone showed that you could do it, and I did it, but it didn't work. Like nothing showed up in the child blueprint. So yeah, I don't know. I forget where it is, but there is a way to like hack your way around it, but it doesn't seem to function properly. So there's like a button somewhere. Yeah, I don't remember where it was, but is it in the content browser? No, I don't remember. Okay, doesn't really matter. Is there a button on the... Yeah, there's some button somewhere. I don't remember where. Wait. Show inherited variables. Hey, look at that. Okay, let's go back to our dash. Okay, so if we go here and click this, ta-da, okay. Yeah, here they are. Okay. Could we, editing this value is not allowed. Okay. So we can't edit our inherited variables when we pull them in, but I guess that makes sense because you could just have a constructor, right, for like a regular, well, you can't for this, but you could do it on begin play, I guess. But these are not happy if you wanted to try expose on cinematics. Yeah, so anyway, I guess you can't. Okay, but anyway, so you can see them, I guess. All right, just got to go into the settings thing. All right, back to the, okay, so we have the HUD, just takes in this stuff, and then I have this other UI here, which is just a panel and the progress bar. And I'm still getting kind of better at the, at UI, so I played around with a bunch of different styles of panels and things like that, so I need to do more research, but if I wanted this to render itself like without having like a base UI, then I would need a panel of some sort. And I think in general, just a panel. I'm not sure anything other than a canvas panel works for this. But basically, okay, so basically how this works is I have an event construct, and I have some notes here, but if this is constructed, we try to get the parent, and if there's no parent, if it's false, then we're going to use our default canvas panel. And I think this looks a little junky here, so I've given it some space, but I can't give it space if it's a child of something, because then the UI, like the HUD UI, is gonna give the spacing in here for you. So so this can be reactive based on whether it's a like standalone health bar, or if it's part of a bigger HUD, and that's what this is checking. So I can add more kind of like display configuration here. I can change the color, I can do a bunch of different things and have like variables set for the defaults. And then if you're using it in a custom HUD, you could change all that stuff. So yeah, so that's kind of what this does. So the actor component for the health actually knows about this UI, so it will create it. So if we go in here, we'll just go to the main event graph to start. So we implement the AC base again in here, and then we have a bunch of functions that currently we don't actually call anywhere, but I have this initialize UI and I have this initialize health. So my thought is I could have the whatever initialization we need for this actor component right here. And one thing that it could do is initialize the UI. So in the UI, we take in this parent UI panel. And so if this parent UI widget exists, then we add it as a child. And if it doesn't exist, if it's not valid, then we just add our UI to the viewport. So the default behavior for this health object is, and if we want to initialize UI, right, we do it. And also, this has a built-in check to just make sure that it's a player that's using it, and if it's not, it stops this whole process. So the benefit of that is we have a we're not going to try to create widgets for enemies and things like that and throw errors. So that's this check here. I probably should just make this check into some sort of macro, because I think I use it in the change health. Oh no, change health is fine. Update UI. Well, I guess, oh yeah, so update UI, we just check to see if we even have a UI, right? So, and this is a get valid command. if you have your own variable, you can do this. You just see how it has like get here, right? This is kind of the standard thing, but if you right click on it, and your right click works, you can convert it to a validate get, and then it just becomes, you don't have to have a branch statement and stuff. You just go right here. So that's pretty cool. And so yeah, so basically if it's valid, then we'll update the progress bar. And inside this, I made this kind of general, partly because I was thinking I was going to be able to make child classes of this or whatever. But anyway, all this does is takes in %, sends it to the status progress bar, and sets it. So yeah, and like every progress bar is going to have something like this function here. That's why I was like, maybe I can build a base for it. So anyway, that's what this stuff does. And then the rest of the real functionality, right, of the health is we have change health. So this takes in a health change, can be positive or a negative number, and then it adds it to the base health. And then it clamps it to 0 and whatever our max health is set at. And then it goes from there. So like this is an area where I would like to be able to just modify in the character controller, right? So like you kind of want to be able to set the max health inside a, let's see if it's whether this variable can be set by blueprint nodes or if it's read-only. So like that would be, so I have it set to editable. I can put this. This says derived blueprints cannot modify it. I think, I don't know. Anyway, I feel like with our inheritable variables, like this should have to be like clicked or something to prevent it from being modified. I'd have to look up like C++ in general. Does that allow, like, I can't imagine. But I guess you could just do it in a constructor class. And that's when you're supposed to update those. But you can modify them in runtime. You just can't modify them as a default. So that kind of... I don't know. Okay. So anyway, we have the health here. Is there anything in here we can modify other than that? No. Okay. So it's set here as the default value of 100. So that's fine. And yeah, so it changes the health. And then it also tries to update the UI. And then if the updated UI doesn't work or whatever, it just returns, and then it returns this node. So, and you can see I have it. I don't even know if I need this, but I have it so that whether it's valid or not, it will do it. So yeah, and then it returns whether or not the health has hit 0 or less, and then it returns that. So that way we can check, like with the enemy, we can say, oh, we changed our health, did we die? Oh, we did. You know, you don't have to have like all the logic for getting this health variable, for instance, right? So that's that. And then the player doesn't really implement it at the moment other than to change it on the spacebar. And we do on begin play create our UI, our HUD UI, and then we initialize our health UI. And when we do that, we pass in the status box where we want to stick our health widget. And the idea here is that we can do the same thing for like our stamina and recreate that red bar, green bar, because we'll just add it next, and then it will just fill in the HUD UI. Yeah, and this is also why like having things be separated out can work pretty well, because here, like this is stuff that's very specific to whatever type of player character we're doing. Might need a specific type of player status box or whatever. So keeping this separate might be the right way to go for the the health. But the other piece of this that I kind of wanted it to be plug and play, so I might have this initialize health do the UI and stuff too, or maybe have a check to see. What other stuff can we look at? I don't know, did I think when I was explaining the spawn stuff, oh, well, okay, before I show that, I will just demo. So you can see it's all wired up, ready. So you can see the red bar. If I press spacebar, I take damage. And then I die, but I don't have anything for dying for the player. So that's all wired up, and it's connected to the player, because the player's currently affecting that, right? In the spacebar, like we're using our health bar. So there. The other thing that the other piece of this that I thought was kind of a neat functionality is when we do our damage class, we're doing our health stuff and we're checking to see if the enemy died, right here. After our change health, we return that, and then we call this event enemy died here. And when we do that, we actually call an event dispatcher right here on enemy died. So, and this takes in a enemy reference, which is itself. Hot tip: if you create a event dispatcher, if you want to add parameters to it, they won't show up as a way to add them down here. They won't show up over here. They won't allow you to add things to it. It's at the top for some reason. It says inputs, and then you have to click here to add a new parameter. It was super annoying to try to find it. I don't know why. They did not put this functionality down here, but they don't. So if you want to add parameters to pass to your event, you can. It's in a weird spot. So we pass this reference in and we call it, and then it goes to nowhere, right? Well, what's going on is inside our level manager, we've added every single enemy to this list, right? And then once we add the enemy list, we do this bind on enemy died. So for every single enemy that we add, we bind this event. So it's watching the enemies, and it's saying, okay, if you get deleted, or if you die, because we're not going to be removing them from the screen, but when we trigger that event, we have this connected event that happens. So anytime this fires off on the enemy class, it's going to send a message to this, which is going to remove the enemy from the list. So I forget why I did it this way, but anyway, it passes an actor reference, and then we cast it. I don't know. I forget why, if that was an issue, but why we can't just cast the enemy reference or the enemy base. But anyway, it passes an actor, and then we cast it. It's only every time the enemy dies. I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but and then we remove it from the list, and we do a check. So now we're comparing the enemy list and the spawners that are left, and if both of them are 0, then we can say the level is complete. And this logic is very specific to what we're currently doing. So we might change this, or just have it set a flag or something like that, to make the level manager more dynamic. But that's what we got right now. So, all right. I'm going to be taking a quick break and I'll be right back. All right. All right, I'm back. And I think, yep, we're all of our volume is back here. I should write like BRB on the little logo there. Yeah, that was OBS has a bunch of different scene views built in. I've been using OBS for a long time, mostly to record videos, but yeah, there's like a lot of cool new functionality with the new one, so the newest iterations. All right, yeah, I literally had to go get something for my neck, which I said in the beginning of the stream I have somehow injured in my sleep. So yeah, that's super fun. So all right, so back to what we're doing here. Okay, so yeah, I was just showing off this the event dispatcher. So this is like one of the use cases I feel like I haven't had a ton of times where I was like, oh yeah, I need to make events, you know. Wow, this is really annoying. Why is this? Anyway, just won't straighten. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, you know, when you have like a ton of functionality that's all connected, with each individual actor, you know, have an event that will fire when you have something specific. Like it's kind of elegant when you look at it. Like the enemy class doesn't need to care about the level manager at all, right? Like we could drop this enemy. I mean, this is a pretty simple enemy, but we could drop this enemy into any other project or a level that doesn't have a level manager or whatever, and we could create a whole new game mode and stuff. So, and these enemies would still work. Whereas if you started to tightly couple them with like the level manager to say like, okay, we've just spawned on begin play, and now we're gonna register with the level editor, and whenever we die, we're gonna go back to the level manager and tell it. So now the level manager just does that, right? And it's watching for the events to happen, right? And I think the same thing is true for the spawners, but maybe not. Let's see. Do we have anything to manage the spawner? Yeah, we do. So we have another event for spawners. So when the spawners are destroyed, and we can use onDestroyed for that one, which is a built-in Unreal function, because we are deleting the spawners once they do their mission. So this might change too if we want to make those infinite spawners again. Those won't be destroyed, so which maybe it doesn't matter then, because we'd have to be basing our level ending criteria on something other than this, right? So, but this tracks that too, and that way that level ending logic will work, because we'll remove anytime they're destroyed, we remove them, and anytime enemies are removed, it removes them. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure this works fine. It seems to be working fine. Obviously, we haven't added like different enemies to the list or done it at scale yet. So like maybe there's something where we call this and it deletes the enemy twice, or they're all the same enemy. So I don't know. I guess there's different things that could go wrong, but I think this is fine. The only thing that I don't like, I wish that on the remove there was like like this idea of a remove unique. I do not believe there is. So I have to trust that the reference that we're passing in is the one that's getting removed. I believe that's true. But it does say like remove all instances. That's definitely not happening. Like if it was worried about something other than the reference, right, it would like if it was removing every actor that matched the class or something like that, then every time if we had multiple enemies spawned and we killed one enemy, it would remove all of them, right? So I think we're fine with that. I think it's actually something we could test that actually. And I believe I've already tested it, but if we just go here, we'll spawn that guy in. spawn this guy in. Okay, so now we have 2. We'll zoom over here. Okay, so now we have 1. Now if it was not based on reference and it was just based on like class instances, then this would, once we kill this one guy, it would reset the level. So am I hitting him? There we go. All right, so he's dead. And we're not stopping. That's the other thing, like I wonder what happens when, so this will obviously, we're gonna disable his colliders, or turn him into a ragdoll, do a bunch of stuff here. So he's gonna be functionally not even the same thing that he was before once he dies. But obviously I can continue to trigger that is dead thing. You know, that will have to be disabled, but I would guess that we're calling this and trying to remove it. And I wonder, so we could check this actually. I mean, obviously it's not happening, right? We could do like a branch here just to, and then we can just print. And we can just write already removed. So like this functionality is obviously being called every time we re-kill the enemy. So, so he's 50 life. Now he's dead, and it didn't call that function. I mean, it called it, but it didn't fail. So now it says already removed. So yeah, so it's doing that functionality, but it's not going to try to remove them twice. So that's good. All right, cool. I don't know if we really care about this. I'm just gonna, oop. Can I just do that? Okay, good. Delete. All right, so we're just removing it. We don't really care whether it happened or not, I guess. Yeah, all right, cool. So that's the, you know, all the health hookups and the dash. So yeah, I think we were in, no, we already did it. Yeah, we have the dash right here, right? Get rid of this. Should clean up as we go, especially as we get all this functionality in. So yeah, so we have our dash, we have some health stuff. So we could hook up the player health, but we don't have like a way, like the enemies don't attack yet, right? So the other thing I was thinking of kind of in this, like the functionality, I don't know, is it a waste of time to just like add a ragdoll situation? I don't know what would happen if, I think the little capsules will just fall over, I think. So we could try it though. Let's see. This is the enemy spawner. Let's close that. Close the enemy. Yeah. So we want to go into enemy base. And so this is a base class, so we want to make sure we don't put anything specific to like a particular enemy in here. So like the idea is we're going to have a couple different styles of enemies to fight. You know, kind of like basic mobs, and then like archers or some sort of like distance attackers, maybe ninjas that throw throwing stars or something, and then like melee characters. So right now, like in our prototype, we had like the ninjas, but there will be like ninjas, and there'll be probably more samurai and bandits and things like that. So there's gonna be a bunch of different child classes of this base enemy class. So we want to make sure our functionality is just like every enemy is going to have this, and then once we start specifying, we'll have to make child classes to get more involved, and that might be when we get to the animation piece and the different character meshes and things like that. So so focusing on kind of like what is the basic stuff is kind of where we're going here. And you'll notice like there's no boilerplate for this health stuff, right? So Okay, so yeah, if I go into, like if I wanted enemy health to be, like if I wanted my health to, these are components, where's my variables? Oh, okay, here they are, I guess. So these are the components, but where are the, do I not make them private? I have max health here. This is still wonky, I feel like I'm not seeing this stuff right. Oh, because these aren't inherited. They're just okay. Never mind. So oh yeah, we can modify right here for our player. So we don't have to modify it inside our actor components, but we can do it right here. So so in the base class, if we click here, we could say like we want our enemy to have 50% health or 50 health. All right. That's another thing. Like this max health. Actually, well, this should be like health should not be a parameter, right? We should categorize it. But like max health, we might want to set inside our base character. Yeah, and then but you could set it like in the constructor. So if we go into our health, do we have? We don't. Okay. Oh yeah, I have this whole like health regenerator thing here as well. But the other thing we really need to do inside our initialize health is we need to say like get max health and then set health, and we want to just do this. So I don't know, I'm gonna set this to not public because I feel like it's not that it's like, I think it should still be like it's modifiable right within this thing, and you should be able to see the value, which I think you can still see the value in the, like we should still be able to get this and print it to the screen, right? But now when we click on this, oh, it still shows it. Because I think we could still modify this if we wanted to. I guess what I'm trying to do is say like I don't want you to be able to modify the runtime health that inside anything other than the health component. And by you, I mean me. I don't want to allow that. Okay. And then the other thing is we can set this on initialize when we initialize our health. That way we always ensure that when we set the max health in our player base or our enemy base, we'll have the correct amount in here, right? So, and that would be something you could do on the constructor actually. You could do like initialize. Well, you can't do it that way, I think. Let's see, can you do it here? Initialize health, yeah, so. This could also be done on begin play, I guess, but I think this is probably a good place for it. All right, and that would set the they max health to the correct amount, right? So like, if we look at this here, we could set this to 100, and then we have max health of 50, right? And then if you go, the default is 100, 100, right? Now if we were to press play, this enemy should be dead on the first hit. Dead, yeah. So we set the max health when we initialized it. All right. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to do was, in the enemy, when they die, we're gonna play this, and then I'm gonna do some ragdoll stuff. Let's see if the ragdoll will work on a bean. Okay, so we have some super crazy logic to get this, but in here, the stuff that we do is right here: set simulate physics, set collision enabled to just physics, and then we add some force to the enemy. So and then we disable the capsule collider. So we can do something similar here. I'm gonna just move this over. Hey, morning, Imran. I've been deep in thought. I'm doing all right. Earlier I was complaining on the stream to no one except future people that I hurt my neck. So that's why I have my robot as my camera today. But other than that, I'm feeling great. Feeling excited about this project. So yeah. But I might have to go get some icy hot in a bit. Anyways, I'm working on just kind of mocking up some of this functionality for. I'm gonna see if we can make a bean ragdoll, and I don't think it has a physics component. But we'll see. I don't know. Okay. So we have this capsule. Where is the, oh, it's the static mesh here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to do this. We'll see. Maybe not. All right, so we'll do set simulate physics. We're gonna do it on the static mesh. All right. And then we will set collision enabled to physics only, I think. Yeah. And then we'll set the set collision enabled to, I think no collision is what we want for the capsule collider. All right. Now, what I think this will do is the capsule will like fall over. Oh yeah, we want to set it to simulate. Okay, so set simulate to yes, do this and do this. Let's see what happens to the enemy. This works a lot better when you have an actual mesh that has a skeleton on it, so we'll see if this does anything. So if we kill him, does he just fall over? Does he fly through the... Huh. He's just kind of wobbly. Okay. That sort of worked? I don't know. I kind of just wanted him to fall over. Can add some... Well, let's add some force to the... What do we add the force to? Just to the mesh? Okay. So we'll just go add force. Why not? To the static mesh. And I don't know. Let's just do like 5,000. 5,000. I feel like whenever anyone adds like numbers in Unreal, it's always just like totally like giant random numbers. I don't think we care about a bone because I don't think this thing has any bones. Let's try it. Ooh. Okay. So yeah, we just shot the enemy out of the arena. Let's do 100. What I really want to do is just have it fall over, but I'm not sure it's capable of falling over. It is a character. Characters don't like falling over, so. That's what I want it to do, like that. So I wonder if we could do like add force at, this is like such a waste of time. This is totally throwaway work here. Okay, what if we did, in world space? Okay, so I want to do get actor location. All right, and then let's split that. Okay, so if we do this and we look at our guy, so we have our X and our Y and our Z is the up. So really what we want is, where's our arrow component? Oh, we can't actually modify the arrow component. If we add a new arrow component, all right, there's our arrow. So the relative, we kind of want to put some force right here at location 20 of the relative. Okay, so we have our actor location, and then what if we, can we get, well, we have this, we'll just do it. Okay, so we get this. Ooh. Oh, I think this is not the one we want. We want this one. Get, okay, I guess we'll get the world location of that, and then we'll stick that in here. It's always better to have a marker than try to do all this math, but I don't know. And then, I don't know, what do we think, 500? I kind of just want to push it. Like, I don't know if we, what if we just do X? Let's see what happens. Okay. I have a bunch of other fancy figuring stuff out in the other project, but all right, that's still a little too, how come sometimes it like really goes crazy and then other times it doesn't? Let's do 10. I think we need to turn the weight on. Also, we need to put this thing in front of us. Still too fast. Okay. Let's give it a mass of 100, and then I don't know, might need to change these. Okay, and then we'll give it a force of 5. Let's give it a force of 1. Let's do, okay, and then on the test map, actually I don't know if this will automatically spawn if we're already in the spot. So that's like one issue with our spawners is if you're not, okay, come on, man. All right, I don't know. I think part of it is like we're probably, it's probably not even this force that's doing that. I don't even know. Let's see. probably just my guy hitting it. Well, I guess that sort of works. I guess do we have all these already? Let's see, okay. All right, well, I guess this is fine for now. Yeah, it kind of depends on how hard you hit it with the dash, too. We can make them weigh like 100 pounds or something. Or we can add some drag. I think if we increase this, reduce linear movement. Let's see, what if we put it up to 1? Nope, that didn't help. 100. Okay. He's just spinning like a top. Okay, cool. I don't know. This is too janky to care about, I think. It works really well with static meshes, and I've got all the code I need for that, so yeah. Okay, so let's just lock the Z position. That's probably fine. And then yeah, I just kind of want it to fall over. I don't know. The pivot point's kind of in the wrong place too, maybe, but hey, look at that. He just like fell through the floor. Oh. It's something to do with this stupid lock position thing. Okay. We won't use that. Alright, now we know they're dead because they do weird stuff. They spin forever. Yeah. So like characters are set up to kind of like stay up, but I think once you remove that collision, it shouldn't matter. But yeah, like this should be disabled, I think. Capsule component. Oh wait, no. What is this? Is that this? Oh, it is. Yeah. Okay, never mind. That is right. Should be fine. Maybe we just need to put it like here. I don't know. It's very much like spinning. Anyway, this is pretty far from Ragdoll, but we can put put this up to something as well and see, and then put this down to 50 maybe. Let's go, let's see. He's dead, but I didn't bump into him, so. He just like wobbles a little bit. So the angular lag will mess with the ability of him to fall over too. So, all right, it doesn't matter. Okay, so. All right, so I don't know. That's fine. Yeah, I'm trying to resist the urge to add the art stuff. So the next thing we need is a attack function, and it's like end of time already. Okay, I gotta go. But tomorrow we are gonna work on the enemy attack functionality, which will be very basic, but it will do what it needs to do. And then the other piece of this I would like to do on my list is like a gray box of an actual level. So let's make some like very simple level geometry and place some enemy spawners around it and kind of play through a level, unfortunately as a bean, but it's kind of the next thing that I want to do. So, all right, cool. So see you tomorrow.